Hello, everyone. This is NXL 360. My name is Nadim. I'm not alone with Coach KP. We just see the end of Group B, where Bafana won their match against Angola and Egypt defeated our neighbors, Zimbabwe, 2-1. Of course, it was expected. Who expected Zimbabwe to beat Egypt? I mean, if you watch football, you see the strength from strength to strength. You expect Egypt to beat Zimbabwe in a football match. End of story. That's how it is. Just like Bafana were expected to beat Angola. Even though Angola, if you look at the lineup of Angola, 10 of the 11 players, only the goalkeepers playing in Angola. The rest, it's Europe-based players. First half, it was frustration for Bafana. 1-1. I mean, it looks like it's a game that is gonna, you never knew what you expected. Maybe it was gonna be a draw, but at the end of the day, Lively Foster, our number one striker, he's showing why we needed him last year when he had mental illness. Now he's fine. He doesn't have mental illness because he wants to go to the World Cup. That's why the mental illness maybe didn't come, because that mental illness, guys, let us be honest. How come he had the mental illness when it's come to Bafana, but was playing for Burnley? We need to be realistic, guys. Mental illness is a very sensitive subject, but we need to be honest. You can't play at Anfield against 60,000 fans, but when it's come to your country, you have mental illness. The good thing, it's all forgotten now. Lali Foster showing that he's the number one striker. Coach KP, welcome to NXL 360.
Yes, Nadim. Thank you for having me again, and thank you to all the people that are subscribing. That's very crucial of you to start with Lyle Foster. Maybe start with the fact that he scored an EPL goal assisted by a bad way. Maybe that's a lighter way of starting about it. But yeah, let's go about it. Do we
Oh,
see?
no, definitely. It's we needed a call like that because 1-1 was gonna be unthinkable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an EPL goal. Perfect. Everything well positioned. One to touch with Moraine. But before we get in, let's get into the game. You just alluded now that first half was very frustrating. It's expected. I always say, man, if it's the first game of the tournament, we've got new faces in the squad. We've got boys that have never played on such a African tournament. So nerves were there. So it was expected that we would be a bit on the edge, and we are playing a team that we hardly struggled against them. So we're a bit on the edge as well to say, you know what, we cannot be losing to this team. But yeah, football, like I said previously, that we cannot expect to win, but we need to work hard for it. And I think we worked hard and it paid off.
A beautiful goal, Coach KP in the 21st minute by Oswin Apolis. I mean, this player is improving since he joined Orlando Pirates from Polokwane City. You see how he's improving in each and every stage. Already has assisted Pirates in winning two trophies. What's your assessment on him and then the goal?
Oh, the third trophy at Pirates, he wasn't there. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. He only assisted with two, but Pirates won three. Just wanted us to to get this straight. You know, before we get into the goal, Nadim, let's get first onto the bedside of our team. I saw the first 10 minutes where we saw Uronzame having forced to make sub, very crucial saves. You see, so that alone, I don't know if it's also nerves or it's a matter of the new combination of the central pairing of Umbogazi and Ungezana. Is there still bit not well communication, or are they still not well gelled? It had us on sixes and sevens. The Williams had to make saves, very good saves, not just clear. It was clear cut chances where I felt Williams saved us, because I mean, at the end of the day, he is the captain of the team, and we need a keeper like that. That's why on the last episode I said it's very crucial. I don't like having a key player as a goalkeeper because it means we're gonna be coming up against traffic. But we saw why he's one of the key players we have in the team, and I think that was great to see. I mean, we need to first give credit there. I think Williams did very well as a captain. He led us from the back. He kept it clean, like the famous saying of Gavin Hunt, where would say defenders will win you titles. I think today we're a bit shaky, but we pulled through with Oronza Williams. I honestly think he did very well with that.
Yeah, that's a good point, KP, because in the first half we saw 4 saves for Williams, of which, I mean, teams that win tournament, they don't concede so many chances.
Yeah, no, that's true. But like I'm saying, maybe nerves. I mean, the central pairing is relatively new. We're looking at Umbogazi. I think he's the key player there at the back on that central pairing. As young as he is, this is his first major tournament. I don't think he has more than 10 caps under his belt. He starts his game, but he has a blast of a game. I felt he had a great game, man. He could have scored almost a scorcher or a goal of the tournament as well, where we saw it hitting the upright. So I think that defense will only
No.
get better.
Before going to the scorcher, but the pairing didn't work because it created so many chances. I mean, Angola created so many chances against South Africa, of which were shot on target 5.
Not that it
Shot on
didn't work.
target. It really does not. You
I don't think it didn't really work. Yet it had question marks in it. Yes, it had questions that had to be answered. Hence why we saw Williams. But if you give it, it was moments. Angola had 4 chances, 4 or 5 on target, just like us. We had the same as well. So I think they will grow together. And I think for me, this is the best pairing we can have. Because if we are saying no, that's not working, it means we are going back to Usibisi and Umbogas, which yes, they've played very well at the national team, but we saw that it wasn't really a great thing. So I think we've got something that can develop into a bet. I mean, they grew in the game, hence why we saw the second half they played very well. I think the first half it was not mainly on them, as well as our fullbacks. They were pushing both of them. If you look at the goal where Ungezana created a foul, Ngezana was covering Umuda on the right, and there was cover. Maybe he could have dealt with that very better, but he went all out. And then I think also the defending of Forster, it was not sharp. He as a striker, he should know you don't allow a player in front of you to just tap the ball. I think the central pairing, yes, it has question marks. I agree with you, but it will improve, and I think we saw the improvement in the second half. Hence why Angola didn't have as much chances as they had in the first half.
And then what's your take on Modiba? Do you feel that he played well? Also, while looking at Modiba, also give me your assessment of Umtao.
I think the both of them played extremely well. I think they were fair, to be honest. Yes, Mudiba was a bit challenged. I think all the back four was challenged when it comes to the Angola. Angola came with pace and strength to us, which we couldn't deal with in the first half because I think we're a bit naive of us thinking we will go all out. Because I saw in most cases we were pushing Mudiba and Mudawo on both sides, and that's why it raised questions for the central pairing of our defense, because I think our rest defense was solely relying on the three, which we expected Ositolo to come in between them, but the covering was not so well. So I think there's a room for improvement for our defense. It was not up to par, yes, I agree, but is it something we can work on? Definitely.
Yes, as the tournament goes. But the thing is, I don't think there's a time to work on because our next match is against Egypt. And if you look at the Egypt attackers, they are very scary. Do you think by that time, Bafana Bafana's defense will have improved?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the nerves are off, Nadim. We've just played our first game. The nerves are off. We just won our first game. So everyone is a bit relaxed. Now everyone is going to come back with a plan as well. We just saw, like you just spoke about Egypt. Yes, they've got the dangerous attackers, but we also have our dangerous attackers. I think it's a game of moments, and the ones that take their moments are more likely to win the game. So I do believe our defense will come back better. I don't know if the coach will rather stick with the defensive part where you have maybe Okobeni coming in for Mudiba if you're looking at holding the defense better instead of more offensive. But I honestly believe we can risk go back in the same back four and see what it has for us. Maybe what we can rather do if you attack on the left and then we remain on the right. If we attack on the right, we remain on the left. Just going back to basics. But I think by then nerves will be out of the way. We've got 3 points, confidence booster. So yes, we should play better in the next game.
Let's go to the middle of the park, Coach KP, where we
Yeah.
saw Mkwena and Sithole. What's your assessment on both of them?
I think they played very well. I was a bit not sure with Usitole coming in, but I got reminded that he's one of the most trusted soldiers of Hugo Broos. I didn't think because I looked at the last game where he played, he didn't play up to the standard, but because he was from injury, I think he played very well today. He gave Umrembola the freedom to move up. He gave Umrembola the freedom to move and play as an 8 instead of a 6. I think it was a good cover to Rembola. And then you go into Mbuli. I think Mbuli had a fair game. You can say he had a 50-50 game. He didn't have much of the ball. And a player like Mbuli who plays with skill, flair, wants to be on the ball. Hence why in most cases when he was on the ball, he was fouled. We saw him winning fouls for us. So I think if we were to get Mbuli more on the ball, we've got a chance of getting more free kicks nearer the box. And also, it would also allow the striker to be able to get those chances and we can be able to break those windows. So I think that three pairing played very well. It was okay of them. It wasn't wow, yes, but Usitol, I think he had a great game. And then moving on to, we just spoke about the middle field. I'll spread it to the both wingers with Unkota and Apolis. I think Apolis did what he has been doing ever since he has been called up by Hugo Bruce. He has always been a star boy of Hugo Bruce. Maybe media doesn't praise him that much, or maybe we don't praise him that much, but Apolis, man, even at Polokwane City, when he's at the national team, he becomes a total superstar. He did exactly that. He scored for us. Yes, he played in moments. He didn't have a free flowing game, and I think it's because of what I just told you. Umbule not being on the ball too much. Nkota, let's give a boy to say there's room for improvement as well. His first game at AFCON, young, played on the right side. I think he was bullied. He was playing up against somebody who was pacey and very strong as well. So he didn't have much to do. So I honestly agreed to the sub. I was just surprised to see Muremi coming in. I didn't see Muremi coming in. I thought maybe he would throw in Urile Mufukeng, but I think the coach read the game very well.
No, it did read the goal very well because he scored the goal. Unfortunately, it was disallowed with Moremi. And then obviously Foster scored the winning goal. What's your assessment of him?
Yeah, the EPL goal assisted by the Bedway. So those are the kind of goals you see from strikers like him, world-class strikers. I think Foster we as South Africans, we just need to forgive him for the last AFCON. I think majority of us are still angry at the fact that he had mental issues when we needed him the most. And so we still feel he's not deserving, but he has proved he's got a very beautiful goal.
And the mental illness it didn't affect him when he was playing, because even Penny McCarthy, remember when Penny McCarthy was playing, Stephen Pienaar, Quinton Fortune, they used to choose games when to play tournaments. But ahead of the World Cup, they always wanted to be part of the squad. What's your take on that, Coach JP? Where you see players choosing just before the World Cup, they are all interested, they are ready to play for their country, they love their country. But when the World Cup is far, they are not available for any tournament. They are not well. Their daughter is sick. Their mental illness.
It's not nice, man, Nadim. It's not nice, but we can both agree to say we spoke about the timing of AFCON, which we saw even before the first game. I think Patrice Motsepe had announced that it's going to change. AFCON is going to be moving, and then there's going to be a different tournament that we'll be playing yearly. I think it also puts players under pressure and also under this stigma. If you remember, at that time when we were playing AFCON, I think Burnley was at the relegation zone. They were not doing very well. I think maybe the club felt they needed him the most, and he felt as well. If the mental illness was not there, he felt as well, maybe here I would be better than going to AFCON where there's too much pressure and all that. I think players as well, with the dates changing, I think African players will benefit from this as well. Clubs will see differently. So I think that's what I'm saying. Let's forgive and forget and allow the boy to lead us. Going on to his goal, man, you cannot take anything away from him. Not only the goal. You look at the fact that how well he played overall. He was helping us in terms of defending. He was the one who was dropping back. He tried to here and there have a combination play, but it didn't work out. That's what I'm saying. Is it matter of nerves or what? But I think he had a fair game for me. I saw he was given man of the match. Fairly agree to disagree. I would have given it to Williams because I think we won that game because of Williams. If you take away the saves that Williams had made, we might have lost 3-2 to the game. So, but I think he also deserves it. So we'll give it to him.
No, I disagree with you there, coach. I think he played very well. He had a huge role in the game. He was drifting back, creating chances, was not only standing up front waiting for passes. I think the man of the match was well deserved because football at the end of the day it's about someone who come in and play as a team player. That's what we saw from Lily Foster today. And also scoring the goal was a bonus because before then, you also see that he was doing more than what is required from him. He was doing the Mahopa role. What's your assessment of Bafana Bafana's chances? They're obvious, we know on 26 on Boxing Day, just after Christmas, Bafana Bafana will face Egypt. We just saw Egypt beating Zimbabwe 2-1. We see the goal was scored by Mamouche from Manchester City and Mohamed Salah. Zimbabwe obviously scored first, but obviously it wasn't that much helping because they conceded 2 goals after that. What's your assessment on Bafana Bafana? Once you have done that, tell me about what do you expect from Egypt?
Yeah, before we get to that, Nadim, I hope this will be able to say. I just wanna try it. We'll try and have this as South Africa, and this will be you Angola. What I've picked up and what I think was
Angola.
the issue,
Yes, coach.
Angola, yes. What I think it was the issue with Nkota. Remember here that we had a police here. We had Uline Foster, we had Unkota on the left side, and then we had Umbuli, and then we had Stole and Mukwena. What I've seen
Yes.
with us doing
Yeah.
is we had Unkota on the side where he had to go down the line, and then we had Mudiwa coming inside. Whereas in most cases you would expect a police to cut in and then Nkota to cut in, and then we push these two up. I think this is how in most cases we were found. And what Angola did was to cheat. They always had their wingers here, which is why these two guys were always spread. You see, and then it also brings in Usitol. So this is what I'm saying, that maybe we should have went back to the basics. I mean, if these two guys are pushing up and then these two guys are cutting in and we are pushing our full backs, we solely relying on a rest defense of 3. And if you've got these two guys that are very pacey, which if we're going to use this platform and you have your Mosala, you have your Mamush here, whom I saw them replacing. I saw Egypt having to have an early substitute just so they can move Mamush here. It's going to be very dangerous for us because we should not be. I think it would be best if we were go back to the same 3 race defense, have our natural defenders, and then have these guys. This way, at least we are superior in terms of number of attacks. And I think also going back to this, also the other thing that killed Unkot, every time when he went in, he had somebody here. So they always forced him to try and go down the line, which is not his strength, because he wants to try and cut in and then take a shot, which it didn't work. Hence why I'm saying I was hoping whenever he cuts in, he would be able to find Usipho Mbuli or find Lyle Foster. Because if he cuts in and then he finds Lyle Foster, he can always lay it up, just like the goal we saw for Lyle Foster. If you remember the goal Lyle Foster scored, I think Moremi was here, and then there was a cut in. Moremi was past the ball. He just laid it off here for Lyle Foster to finish. So if we are to play Egypt, or before we even go to Egypt, what are the chances of South Africa? I think we've got what it takes, Nadim. I think we have what it takes. Yes, we've got mistakes at the back, which I believe we will fix. But looking at AFCON so far, if you have seen the games we saw from yesterday, it was drama on the first game, and then penalty being missed. Anything is possible. The so-called European players or European-based players in Africa, they don't get to shine as much as we thought they will, or maybe they will acclimatize to Morocco and then move on. I honestly think we have a chance as long as we can sort out our defense. I think we are as good as finishing top 4.
But if you look, the European best players that have done well. I mean, you can look at the game against Morocco. We saw El Kapi, who plays for Olympiacos, scoring one of the most beautiful goals in the tournament. You saw also Real Madrid player Brahim Diaz scoring, also Lyle Foster scoring, even with Zambia Taka scoring. The European best players, obviously, they've been owning the tournament so far.
It seems like they have, because they've been on the score sheet. But if you look at your Rowan Williams as well, brilliant. You look at Bafana Bafana, who have played 90% of local, if not 80. Brilliant. So I think it's all about who wants it more. It's not about where you play, or at the end of the day, it's a combination. Football needs combination, needs understanding. Whether the other one is playing in Spain, the other one is playing in England, it doesn't guarantee them a better team. I looked at that Morocco team. The Morocco team that played yesterday, I don't think we should be scared of it, unless if they will get better and better. But going on to your question about Egypt, I think we have a game for us. We've got a really tough game ahead of us, but we've got a chance. I believe we have a chance, not because I'm a South African, but I've seen what upset we can cause. Egypt gets frustrated. I've seen them, hence why they conceded goal against
Yeah, no,
Zimbabwe.
no, no.
Yeah. Mo Salah started very well, man. I think on the 7th minute, there's a ball he played behind the defense. I think he played 3 balls just behind the last defense where Mamouche could have finished, Iba could have finished, but they didn't. On the day, had Egypt been clinical, it could have been a big margin. It could have been a big margin. But do we have the capabilities of dealing with Egypt? Definitely. I think it's gonna finish. Maybe we can finish as close as a draw, or if I don't see us losing. So I think we do have a chance to win against Egypt and maybe top the group. You don't believe so? You don't believe we've got a chance to play against Egypt? I
Yeah.
definitely think we do.
No, no, no. Bafana do have a chance against to play Egypt. Obviously, they're playing on 26. Will they beat
Yeah.
Egypt? I don't know. I don't think so. You know why? Because of
Yeah.
we considered so many chances against Angola today.
Angola.
Against Egypt, if you look at the caliber of players they have, they've got players like Mustafa. Yes, Egypt have got players like Mustafa Mohamed Salah, Mamouche, Trezeguet. You've got danger on all sides.
But
If
also,
Bafana, then Gezana and
Nadim,
Bogazi's pairing is gonna
we no man,
concede
we
so
have a
many
coach.
chances. I'm not persuaded that Bafana are in a position to beat Egypt.
We've got a coach that can read the game very well. We've got a coach that understand what do you need. You know, he's got no he doesn't even hesitate if he needs to put Mudiwa on the bench or put anyone on the bench. We might see him introducing Kobini as well to say, okay, we've got a 3 rest man defense that is just gonna stay, and then we don't push up. We only push up on the other side. We've done it before. We've beat Egypt before with the European star players. I think we can do it again.
Yeah, but now this Egypt team is different. It's coached by a guy who has played and won Africa for the AFCON for the Egyptian national team, which is Hossan Hassam. So I feel,
Mhm.
honestly speaking, that this Egyptian team, if you look at it, they are more dangerous in terms of experience with the players they have and also the kind of a person who's coaching the team. It's a guy who has been there, won AFCON. And if Bafana Ungezana, Sparing and Bogaz is gonna concede so many chances, honestly speaking, Bafana, the best thing they can do against Egypt is a draw, not winning if you play like that. Unless there's a drastic improvement overall from the defensive party. There's something that you said, you and Kola, in the last episode, that before Bafana were surprised in the tournament. Now they know. And they're even saying it is one of the team that can cause problems in the tournament. They are no longer even called a surprise. So even Egypt, they know that they are not playing a weak South Africa like before. When Itumeleng Khune and Bernard Parker were playing, when Bafana never used to qualify anything under Pitso Msimane, where we used to watch AFCON on TV. Now they know that this Bafana under the old man has really improved. It's a dangerous team. I think they are also expecting an improved Bafana from the Angola side. That's why I don't think Bafana in a position to win this tournament. I don't think Bafana is gonna win the AFCON simply because they concede so many chances. And one, if you are playing against clinical players like Mohamed Salah, you see how he scored the last goal against Zimbabwe. They will punish
Zimbabwe,
you
yes.
eventually. You're not gonna get yes, you're not gonna get away with it. That's why I feel that Bafana are not in a position. Of course, improvement is needed. Once they improve, maybe I'll give them a chance. As it stands, I don't think Bafana gonna win the Africa Cup of Nations. I was not
Yeah,
impressed with the defensive pattern.
Yeah, maybe winning it might be we might be pushing, but African football has shown to be a tournament of surprises. And you know, Nadim, sometimes when the environment or the occasion, we already know we're playing Angola. It's a bit of a they needed motivation alone, you see. But when you're playing against a team like Egypt, you don't need any motivation. You already know as a center back, you close shop at Mohamed Salah, you close shop at Mamouche like Mboga. You're already having scouts looking at you. So I think it's a motivation enough for us to be playing. They know already as well that they are playing a team that has won this trophy more than any other continent. So they'll do better.
Yeah, hopefully they will do better because, as you say, Egypt is the most successful team in the tournament, followed by Cameroon. But we'll see how it goes. What's your take also on this Egyptian national team, which I saw them beating Zimbabwe? What did you learn from that game?
What I've picked up is, you know, Egypt is here to, they play to win. They don't play for position and all that. The only thing that I saw Egypt was doing was going for goals. Attack, 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 attack. It's just unfortunate that they didn't hit the back of the net. But they do have mistakes. Their central pairing as well, their defense as well, is not up to standard as yet. Maybe it will get better as time. It's a team that looks very hungry, like I said on previously, like Mo Salah is playing for his contract. You can see that he's playing for his contract. You look at Mamouchi's goal, that was a rocket. He was proving a point that, you know what, I am playing in Manchester City and
That's
I'm here
quality.
to
That's
fulfill that.
quality.
That's
Hmm.
quality, yeah, quality at the highest level, you see. So I think it's a team that we really need to start considering, but I don't think you can write off Egypt, but I still say South Africa does have a chance against them.
Yeah, they do have a chance to compete because if you look at the statistics, coach, Bafana ball position. I mean, Egypt ball position against Zimbabwe 77%. Total shots
Mm.
35. Shots on target 11. Zimbabwe 3. Big chances 8 chances. Zimbabwe 0. Corner kicks. Egypt 8 corners. Zimbabwe 3. You can see it's a total domination, and
Yeah,
it's a team that is obviously obviously the score
but
is not a true reflection of the match.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, that
No,
was
I
the
agree
total
with you.
domination. So
Yeah,
that's why
it's
I
a
fear
total,
for Bafana that they are not. Mm.
sorry, man, it's a total domination. But as well, you see, like you just said, stats are not also revealing everything. Look at how many shots and on target, but they only managed to score two. So maybe yes, there are chances that are being created, but they are not being converted. So at any given time, just imagine it had Zimbabwe gotten a penalty at the last minute. Then we forget about the all those stats, all those great stats. We look at the score line. So I hear why you are worried about Bafana, but I'm not worried. I've got full trust behind Madana.
Did Zimbabwe miss Marshall Monet?
I don't think so. Zimbabwe was playing well. They were flowing. They were attacking. They were. I don't think so. I don't think they missed anyone. The
No,
team that they
I'm
played
saying
together
because
well.
of the. But it looks like they do miss him because if you look at the ball position, 23% for Zimbabwe. They were not even controlling the game. Shots, they were on a receiving end in almost every corners of the game.
It was always gonna be like that, whether Marshall Muneti is there or not. There was nothing much that he could have done.
So how far do you think Egypt will go? Who will top the group? Is it South Africa or Egypt?
Egypt.
You surprised me there. I thought you say South Africa will top the group.
No, even now they are dropping the group because of alphabetical order. So Egypt will
No,
stop
you
South Africa,
shocked
will
me.
top the group.
I thought you would say Bafana will beat Egypt on Boxing Day, and then that Egypt will be the. I mean, I thought you meant Bafana a better side than Egypt.
No, 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 no. Egypt will top the group.
Okay, yeah, no, that's it, guys. That's my view also with Coach KP that Egypt they look like they are slightly better than Bafana, honestly speaking. we've been heaping praises on Hugo Bruce because more than the last time he lost a match, I think it was against Rwanda. It's been very impressive. It's a team that you can say it has improved because previously we used to watch Bafana Bafana on TV when the likes of Mzansi number one, Itomele Nkuni was playing, Bernard Parker, Spue Shabalala, most of those players under Pitso Msimane. I hear Pitso Msimane saying he wants to coach a national team now. What's your take on that, coach? Before, I mean, this is a tournament starting. We've got a coach who's doing well. Pitso is a guy who failed to qualify for the AFCON, who never qualified Bafana Bafana for anything as a coach. Now he's telling us that he's the most experienced one to coach Bafana Bafana. What's your take about such people? Instead of focusing on Bafana Bafana doing well, now he sees him while running his school's program. He doesn't have a club. Now he sees himself as a Bafana Bafana coach. What's your take on Coach Pitso Msimane? Putting himself that he wants to coach the team instead of supporting the guy who's there now, who's doing so well, way better than he did when he was a coach.
Yeah, you see, not supporting the current coach, it's a big no. If he's not, I don't think he should be doing that. But then in
No,
terms
he's
of
supporting
him,
the coach, but he's saying no, he's supporting the coach, but he says he wants to take over after him.
well, if he's supporting the coach, then big ups to him. Well, is it something? What do we have to lose if we give him, unless he has anyone else? I mean, at the end of the day, is he not the most decorated South African coach we have? He's won the Champions League with
No, he's
Barkley
not.
and
No. Look, Coach KP, you are wrong. All the black coaches who coach Bafana Bafana failed. No, all the black coaches
yeah.
who have coached Bafana Bafana failed. Pitso Msimane failed. Steve Kombela failed as a Bafana Bafana coach. Mole Finzegi has failed. I think the black coaches in South Africa must be given a chance to stay away from the national team. These European coaches, we need them because what all the black coaches has failed as Bafana coaches. We need to be honest. I mean, when the black coaches were taking over Bafana, we used to watch every tournament on TV, not qualifying.
On
A
TV.
coach that maybe we can say, yes, the coach that we can say did well, Shakes Mashaba qualified Bafana, but again, he was eliminated in the first round. Hugo Bruce took Bafana from not qualifying to the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. So I don't think it's a right time to give the local black coaches a chance to coach Bafana. Maybe they must start where Romeo Numtaga, under 20, under 23. They must focus. Maybe the coaches like Pitso, they need to prove themselves at Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs before thinking that he's ready to coach Bafana. Because I remember at Mbombela Stadium when Pitso was coaching, we couldn't score against Sierra Leone. Bafana were playing, were celebrating, saying they've qualified when they have not qualified. Pitso lost to Ethiopia. He struggled as a national team coach. What is it that we have seen from him now that is ready to take over Bafana?
I deem that's very deep. I hear you've got all the facts, you've got all the stats. So maybe allow me to do my research as well, and then we will revisit this one.
No, coach. You know that you also got facts. Unless you are telling me that you are now the agent of Pitso Msimane. It feels like it pains you to say you want him to continue. For me, guys,
No,
I think we need to be honest with ourselves.
I would love to have Hugo Bruce continue, but unfortunately, he has stated that after the World Cup, he is leaving. So, hence I'm saying for now, let's focus on the AFCON. Hopefully, Bafana wins it, and then we'll revisit this one.
Yeah. I agree with you, coach. It's a very interesting one. Bafana did well, obviously, by winning against Angola as well as Egypt. I mean, they were expected to beat Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe tried scoring first. They didn't even have the energy to defend that goal right through. The second half, 45 minutes was just too much for them. I don't know if there were people who had hopes that Zimbabwe can maybe hold on until the end. Obviously, you're playing guys like Salah.
Yeah.
I call it that eventually, even in the 98th minute, Egypt will still score. That's what happened. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us. This is NXL 360. Continue supporting us by subscribing, sharing the live. Yeah, this is a network that everyone must join and support, guys. Thank you so much. This is me and Coach KP. Catch us next time.